Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Ball Games. Tom on Cephalid, Breakfast, and a Mulligan versus Rodney with a full grip. He's actually going to discard a natural discard of Gristlebrand, often a powerful strategy versus control decks in game one. Can't just punish you for a turn behind. Getting the reanimation target uncounterably into the graveyard just makes all of your other animate effects must counters. If Gristlebrand hits the battlefield for a second, just going to be able to draw at least 7 cards, if not 14. And Tom has a Cephalid, showing that Rodney does not have time to screw around here. He needs to do something right now, or else he risks potentially losing the game on Tom's turn. Unmask, pitching unmask, and he sees a Cephalid and 2 step-throughs, so very redundant. Both players actually kind of having strategies that work well versus control, but they're both combo decks, so this is a bit messy. Animate Dead, bringing back Bristlebrand and 7 cards, reloading all sorts of resources, now 14 cards. No real danger of getting beaten down by a Cephalid, especially when you have Bristlebrand in play. Really a question of what's on top of the library, and is Rodney going to be able to not pass the turn? This is the original art and text on Animate Dead. This is the current updated version. It's complicated, I'm not going to lie. Its interaction with Worldgorger Dragon does require some understanding of the rules to really play with accurately. Particular build really looking to utilize Worldgorger Dragon, which I believe is in Rodney's hand. In Unmask, pitching one of his other black cards besides Unmask would be able to just win right now. Hold on to the other animate in case of like a double Force of Will hand. Don't that works. I don't think that logic works at all, honestly. How you would have played that. 2 unmasks and 2 animates to deal with. I feel like you want to unmask pitching animate. Options possible. Unmask again, you can see their hand. And if they force a will the first unmask, I feel like you have to unmask again. Otherwise, you're potentially. They'll get got sometimes when they force a will and they had force and like a redundant combo piece. It is worth thinking about. The Worldgorger Dragon, for those unfamiliar, has a couple of triggered abilities. One on entering the battlefield, one on going to the graveyard, or dying, I should say more accurately, from play. That's going to interact very interestingly with Animate Dead, as that is the permanent that's going to bring him back from the graveyard. And when he enters, it's exile the animate along with everything else, putting him back in the graveyard, creating this loop which ends up generating infinite mana, as your lands can be tapped every iteration of that. So Worldgorger dances in and out of the graveyard. When he does, everything goes away. Animate Deads do enter. Bristlebrand doesn't remember that he was only in play because of the animate, so he just comes into the battlefield normally, and then these animates essentially just sitting there right now. So both of the animates target the Cephalid when they enter the battlefield. Then one of the animates brings back the Cephalid, and then the other one is a enchantment without a target. A legal target on resolution, as the Cephalid has been returned, so it goes to the graveyard. The deck does create some fairly complicated rulings. One of the most important things to remember when playing against it is Animate Dead does have a trigger when it enters, so that is often the time that you want to interact. If you do have, for example, a disenchant effect, That's a perfect time to make sure that Gristlebrand never enters the battlefield, or World Gorger, or anything for that matter. That trigger does have to resolve, so you can respond to it with a Naturalize or Nature's Claim, you name it, any type of instant speed removal. We'll shut the whole thing down. Abrupt Decay is a great answer. Rodney really trying to figure this out here. Going to discard. So Tom is live. I mean, even after all of that, the whole point of World Gorger Dragon is not giving your opponent a turn. And instead, Tom gets a draw step. And it's just a Narcomoeba, which isn't the worst, interestingly enough. So this could... Oh, no. I mean, he's losing anyways, but you actually want to hold on to that Narcomoeba. That can block the Gristlebrand on the following turns. Just kind of infinitely, thanks to the Cephalid. You can actually give the Narcomoeba, so it doesn't deal or isn't dealt or deals combat damage, so wouldn't get the lifelink off of Gristlebrand. So that could actually create a little bit of a slower bleed out. Tom would have been at 9. He would have had 2 more draws towards a Shuko or Nomads if Rodney wasn't able to win. Of course, that was extremely unlikely after drawing that many cards, and he easily wins as he just animates the World Gorger along with Piranha Marsh just entering. Piranha Marsh, every time it enters, Tom loses a life and life to stand up versus infinite damage. Actually, a fairly long game 1. I think it was only like turn 3. It actually took a while, even on Fast Effect. Tanking going on. I mean, it's got to be a little frustrating to build your deck specifically to not pass the turn and then have to pass the turn. Got a Nomads. And a Thoughtseize. Force of Will says, no thanks, I will keep the cards in hand. That likely means that Rodney's dead unless he has a Snuff Out, which he does not. So that's a wrap. No Surgicals, no Fairy Macabres. He had a Thoughtseize as disruption, and it was not good enough. Tom very easily wins that game. Now, for those unfamiliar with the combo, I'll briefly describe it. Nomads can target Cephalid infinitely, and that's going to allow for infinite mill, so you mill your entire deck. As you do, put in your Narcomoebas, you can flash back your Cabal Therapies, sacrificing those bodies, and ultimately Dread Return, sacrificing 3 creatures to bring back Thassa's Oracle for an easy W. It's what the deck does very consistently. Haven't played it. It is kind of in the same camp as like Show and Tell. Like it's a 2-card combo that you need in your hand. Cephalid plus Nomad, or Show and Tell plus ridiculously uncastable card. And one of the key strengths there is they can be broken up over turns, so you don't have to play them both at the same time. It's still a 3-mana combo, but you can do it in installments if necessary. And also you just have a tremendous amount of access to both halves of the card, of the combo. You have 4 copies of Nomads, you've got Urza's Sagas, multiple copies of Shukos. My builds are running 4 copies of Step Through along with the 4 Nomads. And you just have so much access to both sides of the combo. The rest of the deck, essentially interaction to make sure that your combo gets there or your opponent doesn't. On to game number 3. Got a couple of mulligans we're able to skip over. Engineered Explosives. Tom actually forcing this. Explosives on 1. I don't like it. I don't care for that at all. I don't think that's the way to go. So he Force of Wills that. So the reason why that's not strong, I don't think it's even worth bringing in, is because you can just play your Cephalid first and then your Nomads. Or something you could have essentially forced this Grief. And this is going to be likely a wrap. So Dark Ritual, Entomb, Animate. don't think I care at all about engineered explosives, especially when I have access to nomads. It does stop the Juco side of the combo. There we go. So Dragon taking it down abruptly in game number 3. Thank you for watching. For more magic from ELD's Time Vault games, be sure to subscribe and check out more videos just for you over here.